In 2012, Aiden Pierce, along with Damian Branks, hacked into the Merlaut Hotel, owned by Dermot Quinn, in order to siphon people's bank accounts. Quinn, otherwise known as Lucky Quinn, thought he was being hacked for a video of Chicago's mayor murdering a woman named Rose Washington. He issued hits on Aiden and Damian to scare them into submission. While driving with his niece, Aiden Pierce's car tires were shot by Maurice Vega, a hitman hired by the Chicago South Club. The car drifted, and shortly after, rolled upside down. This killed Aiden's niece, Lena Pierce, and set him out for revenge. 11 months later, Aiden had tracked down Vega and interrogated him for the name of his employer. Vega claimed he didn't know their name and stated that Aiden was walking into something he couldn't handle. Aiden then raised his gun to shoot him, but the clip was empty. Vega then attempted to attack Aiden, who subdued him with his baton. He then met with his associate, Jordy Chin, who confesses that he purposely emptied Aiden's clip and had called the police to cover up the deaths of several black viceroys. Aiden then leaves Jordy to take Vega to a secure location while he escapes the stadium. After resting at his motel hideout, Aiden went over to his sister Nicole's house for Jackson's birthday. The exchange was relatively amicable, but then Aiden noticed Nicole acting distressed on her phone and hacked it, overhearing someone threatening to break into her house. After the call ended, Nicole hastily fastened the locks. Aiden expressed concern, but Nicole tells him that he can't fix everything and orders him to leave. Aiden then tracks the number of the prank caller and pursues him. While in pursuit, he gets a call from Nicole, apologizing for her outburst and asks him to come back, and realizing what he's doing, insists that he let it go. Eventually he catches his target and hacks his phone, learning that someone put him up to this. He gives the information to his dead SEC contact, Bad Boy 17, in hopes of figuring it out. After Aiden breaks into the tow's center in the loop, Bad Boy 17 is able to begin tracking down the source of the call. Meanwhile, Aiden has his first face-to-face encounter with Lucky Quinn while carrying out a fixer contract for Jordy. Bad Boy 17 soon asks Aiden to meet him in person. Aiden agrees and discovers that Bad Boy 17 is actually Clara Leal, a female French-Canadian hacker masquerading as a male. Clara updates Aiden's profiler with dead SEC-level system hacks and initiates an official partnership between the two. Eventually, Clara pinpoints the source of the call to an apartment complex. Aiden follows the lead and discovers that his former partner Damian is the one who ordered the harassment of Nicole. Damian tells Aiden to meet him before blowing up his apartment. Aiden meets Damian, who is heavily intoxicated, and Damian reveals that there was a third hacker at the Merlaut job, other than Aiden and himself. As he was crippled in the aftermath of the Merlaut job, Damian proposes that he and Aiden become partners again. Aiden, however, rejects him since he blames Damian's going too far for Lena's death, despite Damian pointing out that Aiden's own investigation had hit a brick wall. Troubled after his encounter with Damian, as well as the realization that he needs Damian's information, Aiden visits Lena's grave and reminisces about a previous visit with Nicole. Aiden is then alerted by Jordy that a gang member from the stadium, Raul Leonzo, has survived and is incarcerated and is likely to reveal Aiden's identity to anyone who wants it. After interrogating Lance Brenner, using Jordy as sniper support, he discovers that Angelo Tucci is planning to get Aiden's identity from Leonzo. Aiden eventually tracks Tucci down, after manipulating his niece Helena, and kills him before he can kidnap Leonzo. In order to prevent Leonzo from revealing his identity, Aiden conspires with Jordy to sneak into Palin Correctional Center, the prison in which Leonzo is being held, and intimidate the gang member. Once Jordy has alerted his contacts inside the prison to the plan, Aiden pretends to turn himself in. Once stripped of all of his weapons and placed in a cell, Aiden escapes. Aiden proceeds to sneak around the prison, hacking the security as he goes, until he finds Leonzo in the exercise yard. Leonzo, however, is led to the basement by some corrupt guards and beaten while they demand to know the vigilante's identity. After neutralizing all of the guards, Aiden threatens Leonzo with an extended sentence if he reveals his identity to anybody. Aiden then retrieves his gear and escapes from the prison. After the prison break, Aiden is again contacted by Damian. Needing Damien's information, Aiden reluctantly goes to a meeting place and waits for Damien. Instead, Damien calls Aiden and hacks the area's TVs to show himself in Nicole's kitchen. Enraged, Aiden arrives at Nicole's house and after physically assaulting Damien discovers that Damien has kidnapped Nicole, although Jackson got away, and threatens to kill her in order to blackmail Aiden into retrieving a hard drive which will lead them to the third hacker. Damien then gives Aiden a hard drive full of data from his investigation and leaves. Worrying about Jackson, Aiden locates him by tracking his tablet's signal. After neutralizing the fixers chasing Jackson, Aiden joins his nephew on the train and arranges for Jackson's therapist Yolanda Mendez to take care of him until he gets Nicole back. Although he lies to Yolanda and says Nicole is taking some time to grieve alone. Aiden is also alerted a possible lead in finding Nicole as Jackson, using a drawing on his tablet, tells Aiden that the men in the house were talking about Racine boat restoration. After hacking the tow center in Brandon Docks, Aiden breaks into the boat restoration facility in an effort to find its owner Robert Racine. After hacking an office computer and the security cameras connected to it, Aiden overhears a phone conversation between Racine and Damien and discovers that, while Racine did kidnap Nicole, he doesn't know anything of use. Aiden then kills Racine and gets in a heated phone conversation with Damien, who refuses to let Aiden speak to Nicole. Upon returning to his motel room, Aiden finds a video in the flash drive Damien gave him, however, the file is corrupted. Already frustrated, he pulls a gun on Clara when she suddenly enters his room. Pulling it together, Aiden asks for her input on the video. Checking the file, Clara tells Aiden that the file is permanently corrupted, and he needs the original in order to view it. After showing Clara the IP address Damien gave him as well explaining his current situation, Aiden prevents Clara from leaving the room because he hears car screeches. Both take cover and Aiden detonates explosives in his room as armed men shoot at them through the window. Clara escapes through the back door as Aiden returns fire and detonates more explosives in order to remove all evidence of his investigation. After killing an attacker holding Clara hostage, Aiden defends her as she makes her way to her car, killing all of the attackers before reinforcements show up. Once out of danger, Clara calls Aiden and arranges to meet him at a dock. Aiden also receives a mocking call from Damien, who is indifferent to Aiden losing his entire network and simply tells him to solve his problem. Damien then allows Aiden to speak to Nicole. After reassuring her that Jackson is safe and trying to calm his sister, Aiden is cut off by Damien, who refuses to let them speak again until he gets results. Having lost his base and all of his equipment, Clara informs Aiden of the bunker, the first TOW's testing site, which is a blind spot in the system through which none of Aiden's activities could be detected. Using a nearby surveillance camera's footage, Aiden discovers that a man named Tobias Frewer knows how to control the bridge to the bunker. Clara informs Aiden of Tobias' history as a Bloom employee and directs him to Tobias' crafting shop. The two visit the shop but discover that it is locked. After tapping into a phone conversation and tracking Tobias' phone signal, Aiden learns he is in an illegal poker game. After neutralizing the fixers who are after Tobias, Aiden joins the poker game and identifies him. Paranoid, Tobias flips the table over and flees, leading Aiden to give chase and tackle him to the ground. Aiden threatens Tobias with his own gun, so he informs Aiden that the bunker lacks power. After receiving some encouragement, Tobias hands over the remote to the bunker's bridge. Tobias tells Aiden to come to his shop if he needs anything, then leaves. After hearing that Maurice gave up some information to Jordy, Aiden activates the bridge to the bunker and restores power to the island by activating the 3 generators scattered around the island. Aiden then takes the elevator, disguised as a shipping container, to the bunker. Clara soon joins him and the two agree to not divulge the bunker's existence to anyone until Aiden completes his investigation. Together, the two restore power to the bunker and get it back online. Clara tracks the IP address and discovers that the address originated in Rossi Fremont, the district where the Black Viceroys hold power. After hacking the local tow center, Aiden ventures into the Black Viceroy's compound and shuts down all 3 security terminals in order to make infiltration easier. He also discovers that the Viceroys had rerouted all of the tow's activity in the area, something made more suspicious by Bloom's lack of action in repairing the damage. Aiden also concludes that Chicago was drastically underestimating the Viceroys as a simple street gang when in reality they were smart and organized. After hacking the Toes Tower in the Viceroy compound, Aiden leaves the district, and after a brief discussion about teamwork with Clara, Aiden uses his Toes access to look inside Rossi Fremont's cameras to gain a deeper insight into their operations. He discovers that they utilize cross-wiring and are heavily armed, confirming Aiden's earlier suspicion that the Viceroys are not a typical street gang. Eventually, Aiden observes Delford Iraq Wade emerge from a server room which requires a security card, which is hidden in his dog tags. Aiden and Clara watch as Iraq meets with both his cousin, Tyrone Bedbug Hayes, whom he briefly threatens, and a Chicago South Club member. The club member puts Lucky Quinn on speaker. Quinn angrily questions Iraq over his stealing of Quinn's guest list, although Iraq dismisses it as a business collaboration. Once the call ends, a Viceroy explains to Iraq the meaning behind one of Quinn's phrases, angering Iraq, who proceeds to bash the Viceroy's skull in with the briefcase containing the guest list. Iraq then dismisses the henchman and returns to his locked server room. After witnessing these events, Aiden forms a plan to get inside the locked room. Theorizing that Bedbug is close to being eliminated due to incompetence, Aiden plans to blackmail Bedbug into sneaking into the locked room by getting evidence of him making his next mistake. Aiden also receives another call from Damien, who allows him to speak to a significantly more calm Nikki after mocking him over his recent car chase, referencing his battle with the fixers hunting Tobias. Aiden arrives in Bedbug's neighborhood and begins to follow him as he makes contact with numerous associates. Slowly, Aiden begins to build up a cache of audio logs and videos proving that Bedbug is disloyal to Iraq. Eventually, Bedbug gets a call from his informant Gary Rabbit Diggs. Aiden hacks a nearby surveillance camera and overhears the conversation between the two. Despite Rabbit trying to negotiate, telling Bedbug that Iraq intends to kill him, Bedbug turns violent and pulls a gun on Rabbit. Aiden intervenes by causing a regulator to burst, interrupting the execution and giving Rabbit time to hide. Bedbug, suddenly enraged, orders Viceroys in the vicinity to kill Rabbit on sight. Aiden, wanting to hear about the assassination plan, makes contact with Rabbit and offers to guide him to safety in return for information. Rabbit agrees and either escapes, giving Aiden information in the process, or is seen and attacked, meaning Aiden must hack his dropped phone to get the information. Either way, Aiden learns that an ambush has been set for Bedbug in the closed-down Sienna brick factory, better known as the Bricks. Aiden, seeing an opportunity, goes about setting up a trap for the hitmen so that it looks like Bedbug has murdered fierce criminals, which would lead to Iraq trusting him and gaining prestige in the Black Viceroys. Aiden calls Jordy in order to procure some explosive IEDs and arranges to meet him along with his boys. Aiden then meets Jordy and his boys, in reality two corpses Jordy wishes to dispose of, and, after testing the explosives, the girls, on Jordy's truck, places several explosives around the site of the ambush. Using both the explosives and his own equipment, Aiden proceeds to kill all of the hitmen as well as their reinforcements. He then joins Bedbug's position in the loop, where he exposes to him his blackmail. Aiden then informs Bedbug by phone that he is gonna be eyes and ears inside Rossi Fremont. Bedbug tells him that the only way to approach Iraq is at an auction, where Iraq and Quinn will be. Clara then tells Aiden that she can copy Iraq's RFID chip if he gets close enough. Clara has then localized the briefcase containing the guests list. Aiden tails the owner, finds it in a club-owned old marina, and takes pictures of the list. He decides to take the name of Nicholas Crispin, an American man who moved to Europe 12 years ago. As he doesn't want him to blow his cover, Aiden finds Crispin in a car dealership in Mad Mile and kills him. He then goes to the Infinite 92 Club where he meets the Poppy Special, an escort girl intended to be Crispin's. Aiden tells her that he isn't Crispin and that he will find a way to save her. Aiden can now attend the auction. Using Crispin's ticket, Aiden enters the auction, where he briefly meets Iraq. Aiden hacks Iraq's dog tags, allowing Clara to obtain Iraq's RFID. Lucky Quinn, however, was aware of Crispin's death and ordered his men to go after and kill Aiden on sight. Aiden, however, gets past the Viceroy's security guards and escapes. On his way out, he calls the police and informs them about a shootout in Brandon Docks, at the auction. The police then save all of the sex slaves. Yolanda Mendez calls Aiden after his job at the auction. She tells him that she is worried since Jackson went missing. Aiden traces him in northern Mad Mile and kills all the fixers after him. Jackson, however, is terrified because of Aiden having killed a large number of fixers under Jackson's eyes. Aiden drives him back to Mendez's house, where Jackson speaks to Aiden for the first time since Lena's death. There, Yolanda threatens Aiden with calling the police if she doesn't have any news of Nicole soon. Aiden can now continue his job at Rossi Fremont. He leaves a bug in a bin in a bar not far from the compound and calls Bedbug to tell him to pick it up. Sneaking into the building, Aiden enters a small room, then hacks into the cameras to find Bedbug. Aiden guides Bedbug to the server room, which he opens thanks to the key Aiden hacked from Iraq at the auction. Bedbug starts downloading the data, but hears some noises and panics, while he has only downloaded 23% of the data. Iraq and his bodyguard find Bedbug inside the room. Iraq threatens to throw Bedbug out the window. He, however, notices the bug from Aiden and orders his men to find Aiden. After Aiden loses the Viceroy's henchman, Bedbug calls him to tell him he's still alive and that Iraq mentioned a Rose Washington on the video. Convinced that Bedbug knew nothing, Iraq spared him. Aiden then agrees to cut him loose. Upon Aiden's return to the bunker, Clara informs Aiden that she is unable to decrypt Iraq's data. She then tells Aiden about Raymond Kenny, a former TOS pioneer, and thinks that only he is able to decrypt the data. Aiden then goes to the wards, where Kenny's last signal came from. Thanks to the computer he found, Aiden and Clara find out that Kenny hides in Pawnee. Aiden kills every fixer in the area, and wipes the hard drive. Aiden goes there and finds a man who goes by the name of T-Bone Grady. When Aiden asks T-Bone if he knows Kenny, he challenges him to a drinking game. As Aiden succeeds, T-Bone punches him out of the bar. Aiden briefly handles him with his baton, but T-Bone, who is actually Raymond Kenny, paralyzes Aiden using a taser. Aiden wakes up in Ray's safe house, and he tells him that he can't help Aiden in Chicago because the TOS was programmed by Bloom to identify him, as Kenny is a wanted man. Ray tells him that if Aiden can upload his virus in the Bloom database, it will wipe Ray's signal from the system and will allow him to go to Chicago. T-Bone then shows Aiden his safe house, with armed robots that he crafted in case he was ever attacked. T-Bone offers Aiden a deal. If Aiden does him some favors, T-Bone will help him. Aiden must first steal a truck containing hardware that was taken from him by the local Pawnee militia. T-Bone then asks him to tail a Bloom helicopter that is heading towards a Bloom compound, as Aiden needs the ID of a Bloom security chief in order to break inside their headquarters. Aiden finds the two chiefs in a camping lot and copies their IDs. He then proceeds to kill a few militiamen heading for the Bloom HQ. T-Bone then tells him that he has created a virus that should wipe any file about Kenny on the database. Aiden then heads from the Bloom HQ. He sneaks inside the area and uploads T-Bone's virus into the database. However, through cameras, he accesses a meeting between Charlotte Gardner and Damien, who offers to exchange Kenny's whereabouts for total access to the TOS. Feeling that Kenny is uncovered, Aiden escapes the compound and races to T-Bone's hideout, being assaulted by the militiamen. T-Bone has then no other choice but to blow up his hideout, while being covered by Aiden. Both escape the hideout, and Aiden and T-Bone head for their next stop, the bunker. T-Bone, otherwise the legendary Raymond Kenny, is at first skeptical because of Damien's deal, but finally agrees to help him. Aiden heads then for his next stop, Rossi Fremont. After requesting sniper support from Jordy, Aiden enters the building, wipes out any resistance, and hacks into Iraq's server. Iraq escapes on the rooftop, followed by Aiden. He ultimately kills him after eliminating his remaining security. Aiden then escapes the compound and then heads back to the bunker to see what he got from Iraq. However, as soon as they get the data, it is stolen by another hacker, J.B. Markowicz, aka Default. During the hacking breach, Default sends an audio file that shows that Clara was hired by unknown men to trace Aiden and Damien after the Merlaut job. Aiden asks her who did it, but because she doesn't know anything, he tells her to stay away from him. Aiden is then forced to turn up at Damien's meeting without data. Aiden tried backing Damien into a corner, pointing out that without the blackmail, Bloom would most likely send fixers after him. Damien then allowed another phone call with Aiden. However, believing his protege was not taking him seriously, Damien has a fixer waiting in a WKZ truck broadcasting images of Aiden's vigilantism on all the large TV screens, effectively blowing his cover. Escaping the police, Aiden sends to T-Bone a piece of audio from the call with Nikki that might give her position. T-Bone then informs him that he found where Default lives. They, however, get nothing and must escape waves of fixers sent by Default. T-Bone then figures out that Default works as a DJ in a nightclub, Connection, in the Ambrose Theater. Aiden counters Default's hacks and finds him. Default, however, notices him and triggers a blackout in the club, allowing him to leave. Aiden chases him and encounters other fixers on the rooftop. Aiden downloads back all the data that was stored on Default's person. T-Bone then informs him that he got everything and that he worked on the audio piece to find a name, Brent Ulster. Aiden goes to his place of work, a wastewater treating plant in Brandon Docks. He rescues Nikki and drives her out of town. On their way out, Aiden must dodge incoming police forces, sent after him because Mendez called 911 on him. During the chase, Nicole ultimately learns that her brother was the vigilante. Aiden and Nikki say their last goodbye, before she leaves Chicago. T-Bone then sends an audio piece revealing that the one who ordered the hit was Lucky Quinn, leader of the Chicago South Club. Aiden goes to the Merlaut Hotel, where he fucked up his life, where Quinn organized a benefit. Aiden sneaks by the security, kills the club hitmen, and reaches Quinn's offices. Aiden then faces Quinn, who is protected from Aiden by a bulletproof window. Aiden, however, hacks his pacemaker, causing him to collapse due to a heart attack. While dying, Quinn shows to Aiden the footage of Mayor Donovan Rushmore murdering Bloom former employee Rose Washington. Quinn used the video as blackmail to control the mayor, and fearing that someone was looking for it, ordered a hit on Aiden and Damien after their job at the Merlaut, while actually they were only looking for money. Aiden then hacks Quinn's pacemaker, killing him, and downloads the video. Aiden escapes the police forces after leaving the hotel. On his way out, Damien calls him and tells him that Clara called him, offering to exchange the reality for Nikki. Aiden then races to Clara, who's putting flowers on Lena's grave, to see her get shot by the club hitmen sent by Quinn. Aiden kills all of the hitmen and downloads an audio log from Clara's phone, on which she talks about first seeing Aiden and Jackson playing chess in the park after Lena's funeral, and explains her reasons for helping him heal from Lena's death. The message ends with Clara saying that if they cannot talk when this is all over, she can at least disappear. Aiden then calls T-Bone to tell him the bad news, and that he is coming back to the bunker. As he enters the bunker, he encounters T-Bone, who's packing up, saying that he has to leave if Iraq's blackmail is uploaded to the public. Aiden leaves the bunker and receives a call from Damien, who tells him that he has completely unlocked the toes. Dodging the police forces and the toes, Aiden calls T-Bone to tell him about Damien. Aiden tries to hack into the toes, but he can't get past the firewall. T-Bone tells him that there are 3 weak points and that he has to upload a virus T-Bone created so it would disable the firewall. After Aiden did so, he goes back to the toes control panel. Before hacking in, Aiden receives a message from Dead SEC, who offers to install a breach in the toes if Aiden waits 30 seconds before hacking in. Dead SEC promises that they will be the watchdogs. Aiden, however, declines and hacks in the toes to get to the satellite. Aiden then disables the toes, triggering a citywide blackout, and giving him Damien's location, a lighthouse east of the city. Aiden goes there and confronts him. Jordy, however, arrives and tells him that he has a new contract, and asks Aiden to drop his gun. Aiden then uses the profiler to blow up the lighthouse's light, knocking Jordy down and throwing him over the railing. Aiden grabs a gun and then quickly shoots Damien in the head. As the city lights come back on, Aiden reflects on the past events. He started out trying to avenge a little girl's death, only to end up weeding out criminals and corruption, and it changed him as well. Remarking that everything is connected, Aiden then embraces his role as the vigilante, vowing to protect, and if necessary, to punish. Credits then roll out, with various WKZ broadcasts, informing that Rushmore was found dead, that Mendez was writing a book on the vigilante, and that Bloom is working on an upgrade to the toes. CTOS 2.0. After the credits, Aiden receives a final call from Jordy, who has survived. He gives him Morris's location, and tells him that he can do whatever he wants with him. Aiden finds Maurice in a garage, and has the choice to either leave him be or to shoot him. Whatever the option Aiden took, more credits roll out, as the game ends.
You're the last.
There is no last. You're in it now. I warn you. These guys, they're like nothing you've ever seen before. You fucking think it's over?
No. But now they have something to fear.
What the fuck? What's wrong with you, man? Huh? You're fucked! You get that? We're both fucked! Fucking shoot me! Come on. Huh? Make you sleep better at night. Kill the guy that killed your niece. Good for you, you selfish fuck! Yeah, I deserve it. But I ain't gonna change anything.